Hello and welcome to The Liner Notes, the show where every genre is examined and every artist is considered. My name is Andrew, and your album of the day is Good Kid, Mad City. Where's a good spot for that? By Kendrick Lamar. This is his debut. His second studio album. Came out in 2012. Bada bing, bada boom. This is an awesome record. So this is a concept album where he basically wrote from the perspective of his 16-year-old self. It starts off with Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter, which is a song about him meeting a girl that he wants to hook up with, kind of thing. And then it kind of goes through his time as a 16-year-old living in Compton. And then it closes the album out with the song Compton, basically as a victory lap, like him coming back to Compton after kind of breaking into the music scene. This album is spectacular. If you have not listened to it, please do. You are in for a goddamn treat. So that will sit right behind me for the duration of the show if you are interested in checking it out. This is an alternative. This is an alternate cover to the album. The other cover is I'll pop it up on the screen. So you guys might know Kendrick Lamar. He came up on my list for the best albums of the year so far with Damn. So this is two albums before that. The one in between is To Pimp a Butterfly. I will definitely be talking about that in depth some other time. So today I want to do another list type video. Oh, first off, new mic. Shit gonna be sounding good, dog. I got a new mic and I'm very happy. It sounds beautiful. Anyway, today we are going to be going through my most anticipated albums still to come out this year. So right now I am looking at the list of albums that are already slated for release, that have names and whatnot on Metacritic. I'm going to run through just the ones that I'm excited about. And then we'll talk about a couple that aren't on this list that don't have names yet or are not slated for a specific release, but have been kind of talked about. So first thing I want to talk about before I get into any music is that I am extremely, extremely opinionated when it comes to music. You guys could probably tell by the fact that I'm doing this. But what that means for you guys is that I'm not always going to like the same music that you like. That does not mean that you shouldn't like it anymore. If you like an artist, support them, buy their stuff, share it with your friends, thump their shit. You know what I mean? If there's an artist that I do not like, don't just immediately get mad. I want you to tell me why you like them in the comments. Tell me exactly why you like them, and maybe you'll change my mind, maybe you won't, but either way, let's have a discussion about it. Let's not just get angry with each other. Let's have a discussion. I'm very open to different kinds of music, so if there's some artists that I talk about that I do not like that you do, tell me why. Please tell me why, because I want to know why you guys like them. Maybe I'm just not clued into something. With that being said, let's start off with this list. So this is going to be a little less informal. I'm not going to. I'll write down in the description below the ones that I'm really excited for. I'm going to talk about a couple that I'm not too excited about. I won't put those in. So I'll put in links so you guys can find the stuff that I'm excited about and find maybe singles or whatnot. But let's get into it. So first one that I'm noticing here is Foster the People are coming out with a new album. It looks like it's called Sacred Hearts Club. I'm, to be honest, not that excited about this. They came out with an EP this year. I think it's just called Foster the People 3. I'm not crazy about Foster the People. I think that they have a couple of good songs, but for the most part, they're too... Pizza! I gotta go get my pizza. Hold on. It beeped. Yeah, for the most part, Foster the People to me is not... Like, they don't have a very specific sound to me. I feel like a lot of their music could have been put out by anyone else and it would have fit. I'm waiting for them to blow my mind. Cause I don't know. It just seems like to me, they put out music that is very of the time, you know, it's music that is it's gonna hit. It's very calculated. It's going to hit. There are very few risks in it, in my opinion. So that'll be an interesting one to see. I'm curious to see if they're going to blow my mind, but to be honest, I don't have too high of hopes. Next, Lana Del Rey coming out with Lust for Life. After that, this one I'm actually very excited about, and actually has leaked, but I have not listened to it yet. This is Tyler, the Creator's new album, Scumfuck Flower Boy. Such a great title. So this is a really interesting album. So far, he's put out 3 singles. I've listened to 2 of them. I still need to listen to Boredom, but both Who Dat Boy and 911/Lonely are great tracks. I think 911/Lonely are awesome. I was grooving to that track. I'm a big fan of Tyler. I know that he's incredibly polarizing and insensitive and says some really fucked up shit. But I don't know. I kind of like it. How do I describe it? When he is being like nasty, disgusting, abrasive, and offensive, I can't help but grin. It's fucked in the perfect way, but then he also gets really sincere on his records. Like if you listen to Wolf, the song Answer, I'm sorry. Song Answer is pretty fucking heartbreaking. You know, he's talking about calling his dad, who he doesn't have a relationship with. He doesn't really even know. And he's like, I hate you for leaving me, but I hope you answer. And when he does get sincere, I think it's really powerful. Especially when you have that good dichotomy of this like fucked up nasty shit like on Goblin, on Yonkers and Troncat. Those are some heinous songs. Some of those lyrics are like just like they get under your skin, but then he'll come in with a track that is just so incredibly like he'll just bare his soul to you. It's like, why are you sharing this? But thank you. So I'm really excited about this. Another reason why I'm excited, and I don't want to make too big of a deal about it because I've noticed that a lot of writers online have made a really big deal about this. It seems like he might be coming out as gay on this album, or at least bisexual. And I think that is a really brave move, and I think we should give him a thumbs up, and that's it. I don't think we need to make that much of a big deal about it because at this point in time, that shouldn't be like a huge deal. I think it'll make for some cool music because it'll bring an interesting new perspective, and he can do what he wants. He's an adult. That's all I'll say about it. Keep supporting him if you like him. I'm going to support him. Next, we have Arcade Fire's Everything Now. I am really excited about this album. I'm a huge Arcade Fire fan. I've seen them live. I have a bunch of their albums. They are fantastic. They always are able to come out with a really cool, interesting new sound. I love when they do concept records like The Suburbs. If you have not listened to this album, please do. There's also a short film that goes along with it that was done by Spike Jonze, and absolutely fantastic. Uses all the music. But yeah, so they're coming out with a new record. They have a couple singles now. They have Everything Now, Creature Fear. I think Everything Now, Creature Fear. Oh, I'm messing that up, I know. And I think they have one more. I've only listened to one because I don't want to spoil this record. The only reason why I listened to it is because it popped up on Pandora at work. The weird thing, though, is that Everything Now didn't blow my socks off. It just wasn't like a new sound for them. It almost sounded like it could have gone on any of their records. I was a little underwhelmed by it. I'm incredibly curious to see where they go. Again, I have not listened to the other singles. I Might love him, might hate him. We'll see. But I'm really excited for this album, and I'm curious to see where they go next. Next, we got Cage the Elephant Unpeeled. Cage the Elephant to me is kind of, I don't hate them, but I don't absolutely love them. I think they're fine. That's all I got. It'll be cool to see what they put out. I don't know. I feel like I'm not qualified to talk about them much because I don't know them super well. I need to listen to the rest of their stuff. Everything I've heard is like, yeah, this is pretty good, but it's not like, fuck, I need to listen to this. I need to listen to all of it right now. Like, it's nothing I want to put on repeat. But again, I haven't listened to all of it. Maybe their deeper cuts or like B-side tracks are like fucking killer. I don't know. So I will be listening to the rest of their stuff, and I will get back to you either before or when this album comes out, and I'll talk about it some more. So those were all coming out on July 21st. And then Arcade Fire and Cage the Elephant, those albums are both coming out on July 28th. So now we have made our way to August 18th. So there's a couple coming out on this day that I'm excited for. So Fever Dream by Everything will be coming out. They're an interesting band. I have heard, I think it's Get to Heaven by them. I'll pop it up on the screen right now. That's a really good album. It's kind of it's a pop rock album that is, it's good. The only problem I had with it is that they kind of stacked the front half with really good tracks, and then it just kind of tanks. Not that they're bad, they're just kind of boring and and then the last track just fucking kills it. So I'm really curious to see where they go from there. Because again, I did like it. I would just, if I were to rate it, I'd give it like a 6 or a 7. No doubt they're on my radar though, because it's like, okay, if they can put this out, they can put out something better. I'm hoping at least. Haven't heard any singles. I don't know if they have any yet. I got to look them up. We'll see. This next one is a little weird. I absolutely love this band, and I've actually recommended them a couple of times to people like on Twitter and whatnot. Grizzly Bear is coming out with a new album called Painted Ruins. They have 4 albums now. I think 4 studio albums and then a couple EPs. And they are like, I hate this term, but they are indie rock that is 1,000 times ahead of the curve. Basically, they're the band that indie rock bands like copy. You probably, if you don't recognize the name, you probably know the song 2 Weeks. I'll put the link for that in the description along with one of the singles off their new album. That's where things get interesting now. The singles off of their new album are really mediocre. It's funny. Each of their albums have very distinct sounds. Their first album, which was kind of a solo album, as in it was only one of the guys who really did most of it. And then their drummer, Christopher Bear, came in towards the end and helped him out. But that has a very lo-fi, intimate feel to the record. It's like you can tell that this is almost written and recorded like in spare time in a basement somewhere, you know what I mean? And there's some real raw emotions in there. Like this song, which is the final song, is this beautiful, heartbreaking love song that just blows my mind every single time I listen to it. But that song and the rest of that album sounds absolutely nothing like the rest of their stuff. Because afterwards they came out with Yellow House, which is this like if that album were a painting, it would be fucking 3D. That album feels like it was recorded in this like wide open field with like 40 different musicians, because there's a palpable open space in each song that they just fill with sound. Like they have a ton of instrumentation on it, a lot of like flutes and strings and whatnot. It's the perfect music for wandering around a city by yourself, like as a soundtrack kind of thing, because it feels very innocent in a way. And it's hard to explain, but it's like, go listen to Knife and Lullaby, and they're slow. They expand as you listen to them. They're awesome, awesome tracks on a stellar album. But then on their next album, they kind of refined they refined their sound and kind of got tighter as a band and got a little more catchy. A lot of people like that album better because it's a little easier to listen to. I think it maybe has a little more replay value. And then again, they came in after that with Shields, which is another fantastic album with some awesome songs like Yet Again, which has this really cool chord progression. But I don't get a sense of like a new sound or like a refined sound on Painted Ruins. Like the songs that I've heard are just kind of like middle of the road pop rock hits. Kind of like I was saying before with Foster the People. It's almost like they know it's going to hit, so they're putting it out. I'm wondering how well this is going to do. I'm wondering if when I hear it in context, it's going to blow my mind. No matter what, I'm excited for it, but I'm also a little hesitant. Either way, if you don't know them, please check them out. I'll put in when I talk about them, I'll put in the album covers to like Yellow House. I can't remember the name of their first album for some reason, even though I was talking about it. But I'll put it in. And yeah, please check those out. They're all fantastic. And we'll see how this album is. On August 25th, there are there are 3 albums that there are 3 bands coming out with albums that I don't know enough about to be critical on. So Iron and Wine is coming out with Beast Epic. I know a couple of his tunes, but I don't know a lot of his stuff. So I got to go through his stuff, and I'll talk about that more in depth when it comes out. I feel the same way with Villains by Queens of the Stone Age. Jesus. I know a handful of their songs, don't know their albums super well. On my list, though, because everything that I've heard by them, I do really, really enjoy. And I know that people who are fans of them are like diehard fans. So that's on my list. I will talk about that more in depth. The War on Drugs is also coming out with A Deeper Understanding. That sounded like a sentence. That's the album title. The album title is A Deeper Understanding. Another one that I don't know enough about to really talk about in depth. September 1st, before I get into the other stuff, September 1st, LCD Soundsystem is coming out with American Dream. It's been something crazy, like 7 years since their last album. Let me look now. So yeah, it's been 7 years since LCD Soundsystem put out an album. Their last one is This Is Happening. I do like them a pretty damn good amount. They're good, like pop rock. It says here on Wikipedia, dance punk and electronica. I would say there's more rock in there, but whatever. So yeah, they're coming out with a new album called American Dream, and that's coming out on September 1st, Hoosers Boozers. Yeah, they put out the song Call the Police / American Dream. Definitely a great track. If you haven't heard it, look it up. If you like pop rock, I almost guarantee you've heard these guys at some point. You'll probably like go through their stuff and be like, oh shit, I know that song. I know that song. I know that song. You'll definitely know them. They're huge. They're really good. I'm very excited for it. I almost know that it's going to be a good album. People don't really come back after that long a time and put out something bad. I mean, it's happened, but I don't see it really happening this time. Next, and I'm so fucking excited about this. Deerhoof on September 8th. Deerhoof is putting out Mountain Moves. So if you don't know these guys, they're kind of hard to recommend because they're very experimental. They have a really distinct, odd style. And it's basically like, so if you take the sweet bubblegum sounds of like K-pop and mash that up with like the nasty, like crazy sounds of Death Grips and just put those together in a nice pot of gumbo and stir it until you get Deerhoof. This is the band that like, so this is a band that like, you know, sometimes your parents say like, oh, that isn't music. Your fucking friends would say this isn't music. Like this shit is weird. But if you can stomach the weird sounds and like, if you enjoy or don't mind the like weird higher pitched vocals, definitely check them out. I got a lot of enjoyment out of their other stuff. They have an album. I'm spacing on the name of it right now. Oh my God. I'm just looking. These guys have 17 albums. So this will be album 18. That is fucking nuts. But their albums, I've listened to a number of them, but The Runners 4 is so good. Ooh, that is a killer album. Another one to check out, actually their first album that they did came out in 97. It's called The Man, the King, and the Girl. This one's weird. This one's really weird, and I don't think all of it's fantastic. I think the first half, more than the first half, I would say the first 3/4 are really fucking good, and then they have a couple of live songs at the end that just kind of lost me. Not because they were like too weird. They just don't have song structure. At that point, they kind of just start doing experimental noises, which is fine. It's hard to follow when there's no song structure to it. But the rest of that album's fucking awesome. Like, what is it? The song Queen of the Mole People is awesome. It's this like, it's so weird because that album is like almost void of emotion in a really cool way. But then that song kind of comes in and it kind of kicks it up a notch with this like weird emotional background. That's like, it's like a new sound on that album that just hits so hard. And I think if they had cut the record off at that point, it would have been fantastic because it goes into those live songs. And again, they're not bad. They just don't work as well as I think they thought they did. Wow, that was a fucking tongue twister. But yeah, they're great. They do some weird stuff, but definitely check them out if you haven't. I'm excited for their upcoming album, Mountain Moves. Next, we got The National with Sleep Well Beast. All right. Here's the thing with The National. On paper, I should love them. Okay, so I've listened to 4 of their albums. I've listened to The National, you know, their self-titled album. I've listened to Sad Songs for Dirty Lovers, Alligator, and Boxer. I will be blasting through the rest. Here's my problem, though. I fucking hate his goddamn voice. I don't hate it. Matt Berenger just has a very particular style when singing that just doesn't change. It's funny. I'm looking right here, and you know, it says I'm on Wikipedia. You can find this if you're interested. There's like a tab that says musical style, and it says the National has been compared to Joy Division, Leonard Cohen, Interpol, blah, 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 which I get because Joy Division, if you haven't heard them, look them up. But Ian Curtis had a similar style where his voice is just kind of down here and he just sings like this the whole time. But I don't know, that style and that his voice for some reason works with the music. It's got like Joy Division has this like seedier underbelly to it. I'm wondering though if that, and I mean, I don't know, New Order kind of is the continuation of Joy Division. And I don't know them super well, that I must change. But with Joy Division, I'm wondering if had they gone longer, and I mean, rest in peace, Ian Curtis, fucking genius, but had they gone longer, would his voice have gotten irritating? I don't think so though, because their music was so good and so like every single time I listen to Unknown Pleasures, there's literally something new that I pull out of it every listen. Yeah, it's like go listen to Shadow Play like 10 times in a row, and I guarantee each time you'll be entertained by something different. It's like a good sandwich. That album is a good sandwich, right? There's a ton of different ingredients in there. There's onions, there's arugula, there's dry roasted peppers, ooh, and dry roasted tomatoes. Sorry, sun roasted. That's what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ! But like each bite, you're like, oh fuck, the onions are dope. Oh fuck, the arugula is dope. Oh fuck, those tomatoes are dope. That's what I feel like with Joy Division. Each time I listen to it, I hear something new, something interesting, and just some emotion that they didn't, that they were exploring, you know? With the National, they don't have like a distinct enough sound in their music for me to tolerate his same just drony voice. He always sings like this, and it's the same fucking thing every goddamn song. And I don't. It's like I'm waiting for them to just click in my mind. Maybe High Violet or Trouble Will Find Me are gonna make it click. Maybe, but for now, it's like the National. That album is very middle of the road. It's not. A lot, even critics don't say that one's fantastic. Sad Songs for Dirty Lovers is a bit better, but my favorite parts of that album, they ditched for the rest of their stuff. Like they almost kind of go, I hesitate saying this, but they almost kind of go punk on it because they get these fucking raw emotions where he starts to like scream at certain points, and having that variety really changed their dynamic. So that's probably my favorite album by them. But another problem with that album is that it's so funny. It's 45 minutes, but it feels too long. I don't even know how you do that. And then Alligator and Boxer, I don't even know the difference between those two albums. I've listened to both of them. I have no fucking idea. They both sound the exact same, and they ditched that like raw style. They just kind of went for the same like the same like weird low almost southern drawl that he goes for in every song. And it's like I'm always listening to the music. I'm like, all right, this is good. It's not blowing me away, but this is like good stuff. And it's just like, dude, like change it up a little bit, please. And I know that so many people are huge fans of them, and I'm disappointed because it's like, what am I missing? I want to be a part of this. I don't know what I'm missing. So either way, they're coming out with a new album. It's called Sleep Well Beast. I'll put up the album cover now, and they do have 2 singles from it. They have the System, Only Dreams in Total Darkness, and Guilty Party. I think I've listened to one of them. I don't remember. I need to check those out again. But either way, that's on my list. I will listen to it. We'll talk about it more in depth later. Yo, motherfuckers, Tori Amos is coming out with an album. I don't care. Looks like we got 2 on September 15th. We got 2 Deer Tick either EPs or albums. I'm not sure, to be honest. Okay, yeah, so it looks like we have 2 Deer Tick albums. Deer Tick, so I guess they're self-titled. Deer Tick Volume 1 and Volume 2. There's another band I really don't know well. I've maybe heard a couple of their songs, but I don't know them well enough to really talk about them. If I go through their stuff and I like it, we'll talk about it. If not, we'll see. Either way, if you like them, they got 2 coming. So bada bing, bada boom. There you go. Ha 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 ha. Ariel Pink is also coming out with an album on September 15th called Dedicated to Bobby Jameson. He's got a really interesting sound. Go check him out. See if you like him. I'm curious to see whether people do. Because again, he's kind of weird, but I like his sound. I'm interested in this record. He's not like my favorite, but it'll be interesting nonetheless. Next, we got Foo Fighters, Concrete and Gold. I don't like the Foo Fighters. 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 I really don't like the Foo Fighters. I don't like the Foo Fighters. They just make dad rock. They just make dad rock. It's like their shit is just, it could be lumped in a playlist with your dad's music. Like it'd be lumped in with Boston. It would be lumped in with Journey. It would be lumped in with, I mean, those are softer, but I mean, it would still be lumped in with them. Their sound is old. Their sound is so old, and there's no edge to it. Like, and I don't even want them to be like an edgy band. There's nothing that is like forcing me to come back to it. Fall Out Boy is coming out with Mania. I'm personally not a big fan of theirs, but could be an interesting album. Could be good. We'll see. Ringo Starr's coming out with an album. All right. It's Ringo. Okay. Okay, on September 22nd, The Horrors are coming out with an album. So I don't know these guys personally. I have not listened to their music, but from what I have heard from others, they're apparently pretty good. I'm curious to see what their sound is, because again, I don't know them. That's just a name that's popping up here that I'm aware of. We'll see if it's any good. I'm rooting for them. Unless they're terrible people. I don't actually know. I remember hearing some story about them. Maybe they're bad. Maybe I just damned myself. Whatever. The last one on Metacritic's list of albums that are slated is Liam Gallagher's As You Were. So Liam Gallagher was the front man for the band Oasis. They did the song, if you're not familiar, Wonderwall. 'Cause you're my Wonderwall. I actually do like that song. I don't know why I'm making fun of it. But he is like notoriously difficult to work with. I mean, that's why Oasis split up. They were just okay, so I'm looking up the story now. It's a little different than I was thinking. So apparently Liam Gallagher had laryngitis. I don't know why this is so fucking important, but he had laryngitis and they canceled a festival. Yet his brother, Noel Gallagher, Noel, I think it's Noel, they canceled it and said he had a hangover, which I don't think that's a huge deal. I mean, it kind of makes him look a little shittier, but whatever. So then, of course, Liam Gallagher fucking sues him for lying and demanded an apology, saying, I want, and I'm just getting this off of Wikipedia, so might be wrong, but he says, he said, I want Oasis fans and others who were at this festival to know the truth. The truth is I had laryngitis, which Noel was made fully aware of that morning, diagnosed by a doctor. Apparently Noel later apologized and Liam dropped the lawsuit, but I mean, it's so fucked. Obviously, it says tension between the brothers rose and fight between them backstage. If you're gonna fucking sue your brother, you're a dick. Unless they do something really bad. But like, from that, come on. So, yeah. Yeah, and then later, Noel said, I quit Oasis. And they stopped. So I guess that was later than I thought, actually. That was in 2009. I thought that was actually much earlier. But whatever. They did some stuff after that under a different project name. And that is BDI. BDI was another project with some of the same guys in Oasis. It was Liam, no Noel. They put out 2 albums, one in 2011 called Different Gear, Still Speeding, and then one in 2013 called B. Neither were reviewed like super, super well. It looks like Different Gear, Still Speeding was okay, but people did not like B. It's got a Metacritic of 59. Pitchfork gave it a 5.8. Pop Matters gave it a 4. Oofa doofa. Yeah, this is interesting. This is his first solo album, or at least his first album just under his own name. It looks like there are 2 singles from it. What's concerning to me, though, is that I don't know either of them, and I have heard virtually nothing about either of them. So we'll see. I don't know. I have no idea how this one's going to be. I'm excited for the fact that it's just a fucking mystery to me. Weird. All right. So this is, again, still on Metacritic. If you just look up upcoming album releases, you'll find this list. This is the list of like not specifically dated releases, but like either assumed or they've been talked about kind of thing. What do they say? They say anticipated future releases, whatever. I'm just going to run through this one quickly. If there's one that really pops out, I'll really mention it and talk about it a little bit. So we got Bruce Springsteen with a new album. He's always pretty fucking good. I have faith that it'll be good. I mean, he had some years in the 80s, but whatever. We got David Byrne, who, if you don't know, was the frontman for the Talking Heads. He's always good. He put out an album with Churches, I think, a few years back. Apparently that was kind of but I have faith. I'm excited. Then what else we got? Diddy's putting out an album. The Jizza's putting out an album called Dark Matter. That should be interesting. Here's one I want to talk about briefly. Iggy Azalea is putting out Digital Disorder. Does anyone care about her anymore? I hate to be a dick, but like, she put out a couple of catchy songs, and she's just been really shitty to people ever since. I don't see her being popular or a name in the music industry in 5 years. Even fucking 2, I don't see. Let's be real. Sorry, but she is pretty nasty on Twitter, and she's just been really like almost verbally abusive to a lot of people. Next we got Jack Johnson. If I wanted another Curious George soundtrack, okay. All right, this one's interesting. So Kanye West, in theory, is going to put out TurboGrafx 16. Look, Kanye is a very troubled person. I think he definitely has some sort of mental issues. But what I will say is that I do really enjoy his music. As a person, he makes a lot of questionable decisions, but if you take him for his art only, I think there's some really awesome stuff. I did not think his last album was incredible. It's one of those albums that I listen to and, you know, I'll jam to it, but every song I'm like, man, he could have done this part better. He could have done that part better. He could have made this beat more enticing. He could have made that hook better. Those lyrics are really meh. You could have done that better. I think it's still a good album, but I'd give it like a 7. I don't know. I think it's so funny, you know. Pitchfork gave it a 9, I think, but they overinflate his shit a little bit. Because they also gave Yeezus a 9.5, and I don't think Yeezus is a bad album. I am a Yeezus apologist, but 9.5, let's be fucking real. It's an 8 at the most. The way he's talked about this album sounds so weird. I almost don't think it's even going to come out. I think he's going to put out something completely different because, I mean, if we are to look at this the same way that The Life of Pablo came out, its release was such a fucking train wreck. Granted, he left Tidal recently, which is kind of a big deal to some, which honestly I'm all for because Tidal is just an ego boost for Jay-Z. And it's just a headache because they put it on there and you can't get it anywhere. So then pirating just goes way up, and like, don't put out music and not let people support you unless you go through this weird, like, a backdoor thing. Let me buy your fucking album. I just want to buy it. Let me throw money at you. You say you have debt. I got you. I'll buy your album. Please, just let me buy it. If he puts out new music, cool. If he doesn't, he'll come out with something eventually. Kanye's beats are always awesome. His lyrics are usually fantastic. Sometimes they're a bit messy. I'm hoping he kind of takes a little bit of a break, maybe puts out an album next year or even the year after. I think that if he takes a break, focuses, and kind of comes together with something without, like, I hope he takes a break from the spotlight for a minute, comes together with something really powerful, and then puts it out. But that's not really his MO, so we'll see. I don't really know. Lupe Fiasco is coming out with a new album. I'm a big Lupe Fiasco fan. I think that his earlier stuff is really, really good. You know, he kind of took a back seat for a little while and wasn't really a fan of the fame and whatnot. But the weird thing, here's the weird thing. So Lupe Fiasco put out an album last year, maybe this year, Hoosers Boozers. I think last year, I'm spacing. Oh, he did put one out this year. Okay, yeah, he put out an album this year called Drogas Light. Apparently it's people weren't crazy about it. It's so funny because he put out Tetsuo and Young, and people did like that one a lot. And then he put out this one, and people weren't crazy about it. And then he's got Drogas Wave. It's weird because right now I'm getting two different things. It looks like on Wikipedia it says Drogas Wave is coming out, but then on Metacritic it says The Cool 2 is coming out. That's the weird thing to me. The fact that, not that it's saying two different things, it's whatever, that is what it is, but the fact that it would in theory be The Cool 2, because Lupe Fiasco's The Cool is the one that blew up. It blew the fuck up, if you remember, because that had the song Superstar and Hip Hop Saved My Life. Like, that is just a fucking pretty solid record through and through. And it was catchy enough to where it exploded. And that's when he got big. And he took a step back from that. So it's weird to me that he is titling this, or in theory titling it, The Cool 2, because that implies that he's maybe trying to go back to that bigger side. Whatever happens, we'll see. I'm excited for it nonetheless. I like him. I like his style. He's always been good in my hat. Next, we're kind of coming to the end of the list here. I'm just going to rattle off the next couple ones because this video is probably running a little long. We got MGMT with Little Dark Age. They've got some good tracks. I'm not crazy about them. They're all right. We'll see. We got Modest Mouse with an album that they have not. Ooh, sorry. I just saw one lower on the list that like really just made me excited. Modest Mouse. I'm not crazy about them. They're fine. I don't like Float On, but I like some of their other stuff. We'll see. Motherfucker, I didn't see this, and now I'm excited. Quasimoto's coming out with a new album. So that is Madlib's Alter Ego. If you have not listened to The Unseen, go listen to The Unseen. I'm so happy now. I didn't even know that was coming out, and now I'm just like really fucking excited for another Quasimoto album. Ooh, fuck, dude. Sick. St. Vincent. David Byrne put out an album with St. Vincent, not Churches, sorry. 1975, putting out an album, Music for Cars. Sorry, but I don't like them. The Killers, again, sorry, I don't like them. The Offspring, if they go back to their original style, I'm all for it. If they keep putting out their like edgy pop punk, I'm not for it. It's just so ugh. Troye Sivan's putting out something. I don't know his stuff too well, unfortunately. I'll check him out. I know of him. I don't know his stuff very well. Again, that doesn't have a name. Sorry. The 1975 album is called Music for Cars. The Killers album is called Wonderful, Wonderful, and the Offspring album is Untitled. U2 is putting out an album called Songs of Experience. That makes me think it's a sequel of some sort to Songs of Innocence. I sure hope not, because that album wasn't good. U2, please take a break and just regain your passion or something. Like, if you listen to War or any of their early albums, like, there's just this fire under their asses, like, and then you listen to How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb or any of their most recent shit. Like, how the fuck is Sunday Bloody Sunday? How the fuck are Sunday Bloody Sunday and Beautiful Day written by the same people? Like, that Sunday Bloody Sunday is just this like angry song about the Irish government, and then Beautiful Day is like, everything's happy, life's perfect because we're fucking rich now. Come on, U2, like, fucking figure it out. Vampire Weekend's coming out with a new album. It's untitled as of now. Oh baby, you know I'd be excited about that. Violent Femmes, another album that's coming out. Bada bing, bada boom, that should be good. Ba 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 ba. Zach De La Rocha is also coming out with an album. He was the front man for Rage Against the Machine. That should be a good album. I like him. He was on a Run the Jewels song recently, and he's pretty good. Should be good. Also, Death Grips will be coming out with an album this year. They came out with an EP slash like extended couple of tracks. It's like 25 minutes. It's called Steroids. I'll put the link in the description. It's really, really fucking good. I'm excited for their next project. No doubt. I have faith that it'll be fantastic, because have they put out a bad album? Last one I want to talk about. I don't see it here. Yeah, it doesn't look like they wrote it here, but I know that there's been a little scuttlebutt about it. One of my favorite rappers, good ol' Earl Sweatshirt, in theory, is putting out an album this year. His last album was I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside, an album by Earl Sweatshirt. And his one before that was called Doris. Doris is a great album. I Don't Like Shit is fucking amazing. It's a weird album. I didn't get it the first time around. I got it probably on like the 10th listen. Then it was like, oh, fuck, I get this. It was one of those albums where like I kept coming back to the song Grief. Because that's just a really good track. And I was like, fuck, I'll try the album again. But like, it's not making sense to me. Like, I was just like, it's fine. And then it snapped. And then I was like, fuck, this is really good. It's a really antisocial, like angry album, but it's really fucking good. If you haven't listened to that, it's 30 minutes. All of his albums are pretty short. That one's 30 minutes. Doris is 44, and his first mixtape, Earl, is 25 minutes. So you can blast through his stuff in like an hour and a half. It's all really good. His Earl mixtape is like really nasty shit, but it's really pretty awesome for a fucking 15/16-year-old. I mean, his fucking mom must have been so mad at the lyrics, but like, he's got some good stuff. He always has good flow. I like his, like, he kind of has this like emotionally bereft style to him, and he's always kind of rapping right about this, but then every once in a while he gets into it and he gets kind of fucking nasty, especially on Doris. And then on I Don't Like Shit, there's some really fucked up stuff in there that just works so well. Ugh, I love him. I can't wait for his next album. Check him out. Get back to me. Let me know what you think. So I think that's just gonna be about it. I think that's gonna do it for us today. I feel like this video is way long, but whatever. I don't have a set real style for this yet. I just kind of go and we go and blah. Thank you again for watching. That is my list. Down below you'll find like a couple links to singles and whatnot that I mentioned. Once again, your album of the week /day/2 weeks, I don't know, is Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. Bada bing, bada boom. Fantastic album. Please check it out if you haven't. And I can't wait to hear some of those albums, and you should be excited as well. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. That sucked. I will see you next time.